Before working with you, well, I was doing the books. I mean, it was pretty decent. It wasn't nearly providing the information that we needed. I was doing it primarily for compliance reasons. I mean, we had to do taxes, and you need numbers to do taxes. So it's like, well, all right, I guess it. And even along the way, you want to know if you're making or losing money. I mean, that's the whole point of being in business. So we were keeping books primarily for that purpose, but to be able to glean insights or information from what we were doing, there was no way we could have done that. I mean, I had some basic categories broken down, but that was about it. I didn't even know how I should be setting things up, how I should be tracking expenses, if the expenses were too high or too low. I didn't know any of that. I was just putting in numbers. And then when it came tax time, it was like, okay, here they are. I guess we made money. That's good somehow.
What I remember is a lot of it's time consuming, no matter what, no matter how many tools there are, no matter how experienced you are. I mean, like Chris said, he's pretty decent with it. He knows what he's doing. But when your business is doing business, there's a lot of things that need to be taken care of that just take time. Mm-hmm. And when we started with you, it was just Chris and I. And several days we'd hop on. I mean, we had a weekly call where we'd go through numbers, and Chris would be scrambling every morning before that call to try and catch everything up, because the majority of our time during the week was going toward building the business, which is hard to do when you need to focus on other things like getting all this together and organized. And it was a big stressor. It was definitely a big stressor for Chris. We didn't have someone dedicated to help us with all of this work that goes into this.
I think the biggest one, I mean, there's so many, but the biggest one is knowing what our gross margin is and being able to see that, and what our overhead metrics are. I mean, to know what are we spending that's directly revenue producing, what are we spending that is just part of our fixed overhead costs, to know those as percentages of our revenue, and to know what is driving our business as far as the numbers go. That's huge, and to give us something that we can, like, even just to have one metric, for example, like gross margin. We talk a lot about that number because it's big in our business. It gives us one metric that we can drive that is ahead of the profit number, right? Because profit is always trailing. Profit tells us what we did last month, last year. That's great. But what are we doing now to set us up for profit in the future? And it's all these leading indicators that, because of the good data that you're able to give us as far as financial insights into our business, that we actually have these numbers, these leading indicators that can help us build into more profitable futures.
First off, I think that the big immediate benefit we had was someone that's not us coming in and really showing us how to value ourselves in our work. It's really easy to get buried in working on projects you think you like and you think are making you money, but just looking at like Chris said, looking at the trailing indicators, it's tough to piece that together. And it's nice to work with someone who is not directly part of the company, who can look at that objectively, and as well someone who has experience. I mean, just helping us compare us to our industry, compare us to competitors, compare us to other companies who are doing similar work. It helped us form benchmarks and help us work toward different places that we want to be, different numbers we want to hit. Even such like what type of projects and clients, what's the best for us to work with, between enjoying it, obviously, doing good work, but also being able to make good money. And that's something we spent a lot of time talking about, that you've helped us sort out and, put together metrics to track, and we stay in touch about that. Same with our people. Where are our people performing their best? What kind of work are they best doing? It's been really, really helpful having those conversations, constantly.
We've definitely dumped some of those low performing customers, for sure. That was good for us. I mean, they were just such a drain, and you feel it emotionally. You can kind of tell, like, I don't know if this customer is good for us. I don't know if they're right, if it's the right fit for our business. Like, you just feel that energy emotionally, but you don't have the numbers to point to. I mean, anything's possible. Would have been really hard. I'm sure with the right business, you can stumble into $1 million with $1 million idea. But we're not in $1 million idea business. We're in a fairly established industry with pretty well established margins and operating procedures and all of that. And it would have been very hard, and if we had managed to do it, we would not have done it with nearly the profitability that we will now.
Absolutely. We're lucky to get to work with someone who really a lot of times feels like a partner. You know us, you know our business, you spent the time to learn our goals, where we're headed, and we really, really appreciate that. That is absolutely not our experience with everyone. So thank you, Tony.
Yeah.